Oh.
How y'all doing out there in social media land? My name is Ollie Robinson. I'm your host for Grindaholic, Grind Time Official. And we got a pretty interesting character. He come from my hometown of Daytona Beach, Florida. And what we like to do is present the flowers to our people who's out here grinding, hustling, trying to get it from the mud. And we're going to have a beautiful conversation this evening. Stay tuned. All right. Tonight's guest, he go by the name of Michael Lloyd. I call him Dr. Michael Lloyd because he's on his way to earning his PhD. And let's go ahead and tap in and see what the guy got to say. Hey, good evening. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Everything great. It's a long time coming, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get it out to the people.
Yes, sir. How you feel tonight? How you feel? What's going on?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good because I just got a project finished up that I've been working on for about 2-3 months, and you can see light at the end of the tunnel, man. So that's always a good feeling.
All right. Again, tell them where you from and state your name, state your claim, what you do. What is it that you do, Mr. Lloyd?
So my name is Michael Lloyd. I'm from Daytona Beach, Florida. I am a nutritional biochemist, food scientist, biomedical scientist, pharmaceutical scientist, bioprocessing scientist. I'm a dad. I'm a son. I'm a hustler. I'm addicted to the grind. You know what I'm saying? Independence, autonomy. Just being free, man. And the only way to be free is to put that time in, put that work in. But work ain't work when you know how to do it and you love it. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just a all around, go get it type of person.
Blessings. That's what I'm talking about. Now, how long you been in this field?
I've been in the field. I call it bioprocessing field because, pharmaceuticals use the same equipment as food science. It just changing out the material. The actual active material that you manipulate, but it's the same equipment. So I've been in the field since 2003. So what is that? That's 18 years.
18 years. That's a baby.
Yeah. That's definitely a whole child. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a whole child. I started in pharmaceuticals, so I got about 7-8 years in pharmaceutical industry. Okay. That's where I got my start, and I was able to have the opportunity to get my master's degree in 4 of those 8 years. So I was able to double dip, pretty much work. Initially working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday full time, working 12, 14-hour shifts, but I would go to school Monday through Thursday, you know.
Mm.
So I did that for 4 years. And then I graduated, got laid off from my job. Then I started my product development company, and then got another job working in the industry up in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. And so I was able to start my business and grow it while funding it with my business, going 7 days a week. And I was funding the business through the job. And then I got back in school to pursue my PhD while doing those two things as well.
Now let's talk about let's really hit home when you said when you got fired. What gave you that energy to say I'm gonna step my game up and go independent and build my family's sauce?
Well, so it was always the goal to have my own and do my own, because I come from an entrepreneurship family. My granddaddy on my daddy's side had Lloyd's Electric in Daytona, and my mom and them people on the south side of Daytona was entrepreneurs. Everybody had their own business, making sauce, running numbers, cab company, juke joints, all that stuff. So entrepreneurship is in my blood. So I've always knew I was gonna have to have my own stuff operation, because I don't like people telling me what to do. And on top of that, when you excel and you catch on fast, to be efficient on a job, your peers tend to ostracize you or feel like you outdoing them or something. And so, you be too much, your power be too strong for them. So I've always done people jobs for them to learn how to do everything, So that was my opportunity when I got laid off a month after getting my master's in the field I was working in. That was my opportunity to do my own thing and let unemployment pay me for 6 months.
Yeah.
I was encouraged by a former fiance of mine just to go get a job after I got laid off. And I'm like, no. I say, this is my opportunity to get this $500 a week and grow my own model, so I won't be discriminated against. Because when you got this melanin and you fearless, that's a double whammy. Joker's scared of you, So I'm not gonna stop being who I am, and I'm sure ain't scared of nobody. So I gotta create my own world. So that was my opportunity to create my own world.
So basically, you're not gonna dim your light just to make somebody else feel comfortable.
And I'm not gonna do that. That's not my job. Don't get mad at me because you kind of weak. You know what I'm saying? uh, yeah. So, and I'm willing to put the work in. So, so yeah, that was my whole strategy anyway, to learn the techniques of the job, learn the methods that the people I was working for, was doing, and document as much as I can, and bring it home, to the house. You know what I'm saying?
Take it to the house.
Take it to the house.
Growing up in Daytona, what was your life like growing up in Daytona?
Typical small town, big town, big small. So Daytona ain't big, but it ain't the smallest town like that in Florida. We got 5 public high schools. I measure a town off how many high schools they got. You know what I'm saying? The size. So to other surrounding towns, Daytona was a big city, got kind of deal, like more people. But compared to Orlando, Orlando probably like 4 Daytonas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Daytona, small town feel, Daytona hood, but we known for sports and athletics and everything. So, and hustling, you know what I'm saying? It's a tourist town, so people come there to have fun, so to speak. And one of our things that we do is we supply people with product to have fun.
Yeah.
And so it's just a hustling town. But growing up, my people, like I said, had businesses, and so I'll be helping them and helping to build houses and do electrical work and shoveling dirt, and all of that, building foundations on houses, cutting grass, putting in sprinkler systems with my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Just typical stuff or whatever. But being a monster on that football field.
So one of the things that the theme that I keep hearing is your family instilled these different traits in you, or you picked it up from your family, being able to hustle and grind and do what they do. So that was instilled in you, and now it translates now into what you're doing today.
Yeah, it gave me an opportunity to be exposed. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because just because you exposed to it, I don't mean you're gonna pick it up and
yeah,
run. You know what I'm saying? So uh being where I had to help do the work and stuff, and we ain't finna go home until we get the work done. And also going over the when somebody move out. So my daddy had built 3 buildings because he had a contractor's license, and so I seen him at the dining room table drawing plans and stuff, to build a house. You know what I'm saying? And so I would have to, help him. I was the oldest son, so I'm over there right with him. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but just have an opportunity to get exposure to that and seeing what it takes to get some stuff done and participating in that. And if you don't do it right, you got to do it over again. If you don't do it efficient, you got to stay there all night. And you're tired, you ready to go home. Ain't as a kid, ain't nothing worse than you being ready to go home and you can't go home.
I feel your
So,
pain. I feel your
but
pain.
yeah, having that exposure was a real blessing, and that's what really separated me from uh, in terms of having a vision or knowing or having the something in my heart that I knew that I could be independent and have my own stuff because I saw some of my predecessors having their own stuff and I saw the respect that they got walking throughout Daytona in the city with people who don't look like us. Even respecting them. Hey, Mr. Lloyd. Hey, this and that. I'm like, dang, boy, my granddaddy, boy, people.
Yeah,
But people own him, boy. He is respected, but they ain't do my daddy like that. You feel me? They ain't do nobody else like that, of color. You know what I'm saying? So seeing that really made me, well, if he could do it, I could do it, type of thing. So I was fortunate to have exposure, but the exposure don't mean that you're gonna go get it done because you
yeah.
still got to be a go getter and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
But that planted the seed in my head and gave me a vision, that I could do what my
So,
predecessor did.
so you will say dreaming big and having big goals and not letting people derail you from that goal. And you was talking about like your fiance, your ex
Ex
fiance,
fiance,
ex
ex.
fiance. So she's telling you to go get a job and be a drone within the system instead
Right,
of you having your own business and growing it. And a lot of
right.
people, I guess they don't understand it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and years before you're able to bring it to light. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, yeah, it took me 10 years uh, to build a company overnight. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, I think they're in the mindset of gratification because they see the byproduct of all the hard work. You know what I'm saying? And I guess what that was given to us when we was growing up in Daytona was sports and rapping and singing and dancing for the folks. But a lot of us had a different mindset was to own businesses and help the next generation come up. Plant those seeds. You don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to, you know, hustle. The BS because this is the information age. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think now anybody can say, "Oh, I gotta do drugs, or I gotta sell drugs, or I gotta play basketball, or I gotta play football to make it." I mean, so many ways now, and now I think just by putting in the work and you show the strength and the unmitigated goal to get things done. So I salute you. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and continue. So with your num num sauce, I'm gonna go ahead and show that. So where did num num sauce come from?
I actually been working on the Sause since 2004. While I was in graduate school at North Carolina Central University, while working, full time. My grandpa trained me on how to make num num sauce or how to make sauces in general, and I was able to put my own spin on it in terms of putting the science piece that I acquired from working in the pharmaceutical industry. Because I noticed that when we were developing these drugs and things, we would weigh out the ingredients by weight, not by volume. And so I noticed everything was done by weight. So I was able to, once I used up all the product that I was instructed on how to make, using my granddaddy used his finger. You know what I'm saying? Put this much in here, put this much in here, go get that bottle, put this in there, that type of thing. So, you can't measure that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So after I used all the product up that he showed me how to make using his finger, I had to recreate it or whatnot. So using the methods and techniques that I learned professionally in the pharmaceutical industry, I was able to play with it a little bit and choose my own ingredients and put something together. And I just sat on it for about 2 years until I can get through the graduate program. And so once I got done with the graduate program and they laid me off, I already knew what I was going to do. I'm going to bring this sauce back. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been sitting on it for 2 years. Yeah. So that's how that got going. But and then I was able to rebrand it, give it a name, give it a identity. And then over the years, as I matriculated through the PhD program in food science at North Carolina State University, I was able to take courses, pay for courses, finance the courses, and get the information I needed to bring the health benefits out, bring the product up to date, identify what consumers related with, what packaging they were more attuned to, and the importance of health, and also taking these courses, I was able to develop technology. I took sensory science. How do products interact with your senses? Sight, smell, taste, hearing, uh, and I was able to take that data, take that information, and put it into and combine it with the old school technology or old school ways that my grandpa taught me, that his dad taught him, and developed a novel food invention, a healthy alternative to ketchup, mustard, and barbecue sauce that enhanced the flavor of foods without compromising the flavor.
Now run that back.
Okay.
Run that back. A lot of people not hearing you. Your sauce, it's not filled with sodium. It's not filled with all the highfalutin googly gop. Tell them about your sauce and how this how this measures against anything that's out there, any condiments or anything that's out there on the market. And we have a comment. One of the guests said, "Is it vegan?"
Yes, it is vegan. And I developed a flavor capacitor flux process uh, that allows us to activate flavor profiles in the tomato material, This enables us to mimic sodium and fat flavor. So sodium tastes good, fat tastes good. And so a lot of companies load products up with salt and or fat to get consumers to adopt it on a continual basis. To get hooked on it, basically, because your body adapts to its environment. If you put your body in certain conditions over time, it will assume that that's normal, and that is normal because you put it in those positions. So it will adjust to certain flavors, certain chemical reactions in your brain, and things of that nature that's stimulated by the food that you consume and the products that you expose your body to. So they would add, and also salt is a preservative. You know what I'm saying? So it maximizes the shelf life because salt binds water, and so when water is bound, bacteria, microorganisms can't get to it. So instead of understanding how to maximize the flavor of the foods, they just dump salt and sugar and everything. And when you overdo it, but get consumers to consume that and their bodies adapt to that as a norm, then you get a lot of obesity, you get a lot of diabetes, you get a lot of inflammation from eating too much of products that have that high sodium in it. So since our technologies can mimic those desirable flavors without, there's no need to add all of that in there, and still get what's called consumer acceptance, the consumer to accept it. But but normally when things are healthy, it doesn't taste that good. That's because people of color aren't in there producing it. You know what I'm saying? Because people of color know how to make stuff taste good. Basically, we know how to put love into things and take time with it. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just dumping salt in it. You know what I'm saying? We understand the nuances of the food, and know that's passed down from generation to generation orally. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much.
And I think that portion has been lost in translation because we didn't keep bookkeeping, something, you know what I'm saying, or manuscripts or anything like that. It was always presented orally, and it was passed down from generation to generation. So you touched on something, or it usually gets stolen
or burned
by them people, as
who they'll take what they think they need and then burn the rest. So it's lost.
Yeah. So it's a lot of lost science throughout history from our people. Now, what I think a lot of people don't know, if you're in the southern region, your sauce is in a special place. Would you like to go ahead and tell them about that?
Yeah, we sell our product in the Whole Foods market. This product is vegan, is healthy, it's the healthiest kind of been on the market. As you can see, we got a lot of shelf space, which means that we sell a lot of it, and people consume it and respond to it well. And we've been working with it since 2008, so I guess it's 12 and a half years, fall 2008. And we're just, looking to scale up and get to more parts of the country. We just signed on about 18 months, 2 years, about 18 months ago with their national distributor, United Natural Foods. So we're partnering with them now. So we're just looking to raise some seed capital and scale up our business out of Atlanta, Georgia. We expanded down here to the Black Mecca, the new Black Mecca of the world, and so we can get more support from our people, so we can attract some attention and scale up and collaborate with some of these media people. And we built our own manufacturing facility. Took about 5 years to get that done. And so now we have our facility, all food grade, pharmaceutical grade paneling, so we can clean it, sanitize it, treat it properly, and we ready to scale up with production and get the product out here to more people.
Awesome. Now, what was it that got you out your comfort zone to produce and get this product out? The hard work, the drive. Yeah, I know we touched on it a little earlier, but I'm bringing it back because you talking about science, and a lot of kids, they're not in tune as they should be as how we were in the past. I think anything before the 1970s, we was in tune with science and the math and everything, and with the 70s and the 80s with the war and the new the drug epidemic that came, it was a shockwave, and we personally saw it in Daytona, so it's nothing new on the raw or under the sun. So give me your perspective of how science played a role in this, because you touch base on a lot of things of science, and how would you present science to the kids today? Do you have any like STEM projects or anything like that?
Yeah. So first, it never was a comfort zone. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Working for people and being under the whim of somebody else's emotions has never been my stilo. Never been my cup of tea. So autonomy was always the goal.
Mm.
But you have to work within somebody else's model to get your experience up.
Yeah.
As far as science goes, I've always enjoyed science. I've always been inquisitive. My favorite question was always why. And anybody say anything, why? Why we gotta do that? Why we gotta? And most of the time people don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what scientists do. I didn't know that at the time, but I'm always challenging everything. You know what I'm saying? Why?
Cause that's the way
Why?
it is.
Ain't no that ain't the right answer.
That's just the way it is. Just shut up, boy.
Nah. Yeah. So I've always had an inquisitive nature, and I've always enjoyed solving math problems. Because I was good at it, and math is the language of science. So you explain science with math, statistics.
It's the
You
language
know,
of the
and
universe.
yeah, and that leads me to the other point. We people of color are the original scientists. You know what I'm saying? We the ones that calculate. We the ones that do astronomy. We the ones who are the biologists. We the ones that are the doctors. Even though medical doctors are pretty much distributors of product now. Um,
They
but
don't heal shit.
yeah. So we're the original critical thinkers. The intellectual people with high intellectual capacity. So that came natural to me with the inquisitive nature I've always had, and the affinity for math. Now I didn't like read that much, what I'm saying, until I got into graduate school, um, reading scientific papers and things in graduate school. But undergrad, I could read and stuff, but it wasn't really enjoyable because the subject matter wasn't. I get bored kind of quick. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if something don't strike me, I kind of lose interest. But math always kept my interest because I could do it fast, and science was always allowing me to answer questions, or giving me answers to questions. As far as having STEM projects and stuff, yeah, we definitely have some science, technology, and math projects here with my company. So since we are in the business of scientific in the food realm, there's a lot of aspects of science and food. So you got food science first is pretty much be summarized as how do you process or package food in order to preserve it to a degree where bacteria doesn't overtake it before we can consume it.
Mm.
So that is the essence of food science. How long does it last? How long can it last? What are the conditions that makes it last longer? How can we prevent bacteria from taking it over? How do we process it in a way where it minimizes the microbial growth? Fermentation. You know what I'm saying? Like sauerkraut is fermented, pickles are fermented. Basically, sugar is a food source for the bacteria. They consume the sugar and then they produce acid. You know what I'm saying? That drops the pH. pH is the hydrogen ion concentration. Drops the pH, and bacteria thrive more in neutral pH 7, which is what water is. So when you ferment something, the result of the fermentation is acids produced. So that lowers the hydrogen concentration, which bacteria don't really like. What the pathogenic bacteria that harms us don't enjoy that environment, so they don't grow in it. You know what I'm saying? So these types of things, the products need to be refrigerated. How long? Milk. How long? Cheese. What's the process of manufacturing cheese from milks? Is separating out the fat from the sugar, from the protein. You know what I'm saying? So, these types of projects that we have in the area of food processing, that we have entrepreneurship program to train people, give people some experience in processing condiments right now. But we're about to start putting out our food trailer operations as well. So that's also food science. Culinary is a function of food science. So you got food packaging, food chemistry, food microbiology, and then you got culinary is in the arm of food science. And culinary is pretty much how do you cook, how do you prepare the food to a degree that stimulates uh, chemical reactions during that process, that can optimize or maximize the acceptance of the dish at the consumption or intake experience. So food science is everywhere. Science is everywhere. I feel like people of color need to get more into the food sciences, the bioprocessing sciences. So when you say bioprocessing, you're talking about taking a fruit or a vegetable, processing it, homogenizing it, and when I say homogenize, making it in a homogeneous state, pretty much blend it up and heat it up to preserve it, to kill off the bacteria, but keep the nutrients in there, and put it in a food form like a drink or a sauce or puree to put on top of some meat, on top of some fish or something, and package it in a vacuum seal or something like that, in a sterile environment to where it won't get overrun with bacteria. It's clean, it's sterile. You know what I'm saying? And so, which allow people to consume it. So, food science and science in general and processing is everywhere. We just got to have infrastructure in terms of the equipment and the clean facilities, clean room facilities, to be able to get training on the subject matter.
So, with that being said, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, they got food and drugs in the same sentence, in the same acronym. How do you feel about the drugs being making people chemically imbalanced? You know what I'm saying? And then they follow up with the pharmaceutical companies to, give them tit for tat. We're gonna have to give you this so this can control diabetes or control your high blood pressure. Man, when I went on your Instagram, and I'm gonna show this and let people understand what your sauce does for people.
Can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Uh-uh.
Ah,
Turn up a little bit.
maybe you can play it. Um, well,
Or
for
they can follow us on Instagram and follow us Num Num Sauce, one word, on Instagram, and find that lady on there, and press play, and you can hear what she said. She basically said that Num Num Sauce saved her life. She was diagnosed with high blood pressure and kidney failure, and since Num Num Sauce is low sodium and it tastes good, and she had to be on a low sodium diet, Num Num Sauce improves her quality of life, because if you're used to eating foods that taste a certain way, then all of a sudden you got to stop eating that, then food isn't fun anymore, and food is directly tied to your emotions. You know what I'm saying? So your neurons are attached to your olfactory epithelium, which is right here. It's tied straight to your brain. So that's why people enjoy food, and food is comfort. Food is emotions. Food is memory for people, because it's directly tied to your neurons, and your brain recognizes foods, and it gives you comfort because it's nourishment. So she said Num Num Sauce saved her life, because it it is flavorful, and it is low sodium, so she's able to eat and taste and have stuff taste good by utilizing a low sodium condiment.
yeah, man, I was just like so curious when I'm like, huh? Did she just say what I think she just said?
Yeah, and I didn't ask her to say that.
Yeah, she just
She came up to me and was like, "You make Num Num Sauce?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." She's like, "Oh my goodness, it does this and that," and I'm like, "Well, can you mind saying that on camera?" So I said, "What did Num Num Sauce do to you now?" And she went ahead and, oh, sure, told the truth. You know what I'm saying? The truth is the light. But to answer your question about the FDA, you have to understand Drug Administration. You have to understand how they were started, why they were started. So back in the industrial age, people up in bigger cities like Chicago and New York, they were producing food products, but they weren't clean. They weren't. There was no regulatory agency to, make sure everybody was, it was all healthy and it was all sanitary and stuff. So people were getting sick, from products because they didn't have a regulatory agency. So they created the Food and Drug Administration to monitor, or to establish a standard of operations for consumable products that people would eat, products that people would, eventually inject into their bodies, with the drug part. And then if you understand how the pharmaceutical industry was created, after the oil, after the separation of petroleum from crude oil, um, uh, they would separate the petroleum, and then they had a lot of gunk left over that had active compounds that could uh, uh, regulate biological responses. And so vitamins, minerals, stuff like that. But they had, you had to separate them out, purify them out. But you had all this raw material that was cheap because they already extracted out of petroleum. So this stuff left over has biological implications. So they decided to, and I think one of the Rockefeller guys who was in on the oil piece,
mm-hmm.
he identified these active compounds and got scientists to investigate them and stuff in academia, and saw that it was a value added material that could be utilized as a standardized, and sold on the market to improve health, potentially. Because prior to that, the food was more medicinal and things of that nature, but there was no standardized process for the food and stuff. So it was once the Rockefeller guy got academia on board to push the pharmaceutical concept, it kind of took off because he had the money to push the marketing and,
Mm-hmm.
and, and stuff like that. And then he got with doctors, the boards and stuff with the medical doctors, and pushed that into their programs.
To
And they were
incentivize it.
able, Yeah, and so they were. He had the capital. You know what I'm saying, to get the studies done, to get the American Heart get the Cancer Society on board, things of that nature. So it was good intentions, at a certain level from the standpoint of utilizing value added material to help standardize or improve correcting diseases. But these compounds over the years through the pharmaceutical development, industry development, the reactions that were being manipulated or standardized in pharmaceuticals were actually, I found, was reactions in nature, reactions from plants. You know what I'm saying? So since you're dealing with oral consumption, biocompatible materials, stuff that people's bodies are going to utilize, that's why the Food and Drug Administration is over that aspect of our society, or the governing body for that. And but as far as vaccines and all that type of stuff being perhaps sometimes adulterated or modified, or not being all the way on point where it'll correct one thing and harm something else, another system. That's the nature of trying to use a quick fix method to fix a complex system. You know what I'm saying? So your body is dynamic. You got all these cells and gene expression, protein expression, all these dynamic processes that are designed to heal themselves with the right nutrients, with the right exposure to the right plant compounds, with the right lifestyle, with the right balance and exercise, with the right balance in lifestyle. If you try to correct that with one reaction, you know what I'm saying, blocking one receptor, type of thing. Yeah, I mean, our bodies are too complex for a simple, quicker fix to work. Yeah, I mean, that's not how the Creator created us. The Creator created our bodies to heal themselves. We just gotta expose our bodies to the right things, and don't get caught up in the marketing, selling a moving product, because
just like
that's one of
milk was good for the body. You remember growing up, and we always see those commercials.
Yeah,
it seemed like they aired that all the way until like 2005, 2006. And because it's an information age, people started to get hip to what was going on in the industry. Like the government was paying the farmers to produce the milk, and the marketing was telling us to go, oh, this fight against osteoporosis and all of this stuff, but it was like the exact opposite. This stuff breaks down your body.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a part of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics, that's the movement of revenue throughout the market. But I mean, milk, in terms of the protein and the fat and stuff, had its place. It was a cheap source of nutrients, complete food, and a complete food is all the nutrients that your body needs to sustain itself. And so, in times of war, that's how Kraft became big. They provided cheese, which is a protein source, to the troops. So they got government contracts. Troops in World War I and II, they got government contracts to supply cheese, a cheap source of protein, because if you don't have protein, then your body can't produce enzyme, and your body wastes away. It's called proteinuria, I believe. So I mean, it had its place, but now we're not at war. Protein is not scarce. Protein is abundant, and more research has been published in academia that shows some of the impacts of, say, lactose because as you get older, your lactase enzyme decreases expression because you don't need the lactose anymore, and so lactase enzyme degrades lactose, and so if your body doesn't produce lactase enzyme as you get older, it downregulates expression. Then you're gonna have inflammation in your gut because the bacteria in your gut consumes it as a complex sugar, and it causes bloating and causes discomfort and things of that nature. So it's a lot of data that has been coming out, and the information has been spread through the connectivity of the internet, which shows that some people are lactose intolerant, and some of the other extra fats and everything that's in the cow's milk isn't necessarily great for certain people's prostate area and things of that nature. So that's why you have nowadays more alternative foods, alternative milks, alternative meats. People are trying to eat healthier because, as a whole, Americans are. A lot of people are high blood pressure, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and things of that nature. So now, as I say, is a good time for our youth to get into the food science field because the paradigm has changed, and people want to eat healthy and eat better and more nutritious, but not lose the flavor profile. The quality of the food needs to increase, and consumers want that. So there are huge opportunities in the industry, in the food processing industry, to come up and utilize some of your family passed down legacy technologies and get them to the market and monetize. And this is monetization on a residual basis, because it's food.
Another thing, like all the past like traditional foods and stuff like that, what's been taught to us, and how when you go to the hospital, they always ask you the question, does your mother, has she had a heart attack, or does she has high blood pressure? And they're saying certain things of, oh, that's hereditary, when in fact is not really hereditary. It's just the food that's been fed to you over the years. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have totally opposite people. Like, you don't eat all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But the other person is eating
crap,
Whoppers and Big Macs and shit.
Well, yeah. So when they say hereditary, they're talking about genetic predisposition.
Yeah.
But it is genetic in a way. But what you're describing is the acquired piece of it based off your lifestyle. So that's called innate versus acquired. Innate is when you're born with something. Acquired is when your lifestyle dictates the ramifications of, say, perhaps diet. So we do have a genetic predisposition for hypertension, meaning, and that only means hypertension, high blood pressure. That only means that we don't need to consume. People of color are impacted negatively more by higher sodium. Yeah. So the dietary intake guidelines suggest that people of color or people at risk, which includes people of color and elderly and children, should consume 1,500 milligrams of sodium a day, compared to non-at-risk people, which are Caucasian demographic. They can consume 2,300 milligrams a day in order to promote health. Now, that threshold was lowered in 2010 when the top people in the nutrition, food science, and exercise nutrition world of academia, they meet every every 10 years and publish what's called the Dietary Reference Intake Guidelines (DRI). And you can Google that and get information on that. But they get together every 5 years, but they publish every 10 years to analyze the data, the demographic data, the research data, to see what's the status of Americans and their health. And so that's important, because if you have an unhealthy population, your productivity goes down. You know, your country is not strong because people are dying, people are not being productive, people are sick. Because if you're sick, you can't produce your energy, can't generate revenue for the country, for the world. So in 2010, that threshold for sodium, in order to ensure Americans are healthy, went from 3,400 milligrams a day to 2,300 milligrams a day for non-at-risk people, which is the majority Caucasian demographic. But for people of color, it dropped from the at-risk population, and children and elderly people went from 2,300 milligrams a day to 1,500 milligrams a day. So just to give you an idea, ketchup has 160 milligrams per tablespoon. So 10 servings of ketchup would have you beyond your 1,500 milligrams a day.
Okay.
So this
compare that against your num num sauce.
Num num sauce has 40 milligrams of sodium compared to 160 milligrams. Okay. So we cut the sodium by 300% less sodium, or we cut it down 1/3 or less than 1/3.
Yeah, less than 1/3.
And it still tastes flavorful. But so this is the information that I learned in nutrition class, taking these food science courses, and this is the information that most people aren't aware of. So that's why it's good to come on your platform to inform consumers about the 1,500 milligrams a day, especially people of color, which is why you need to count your sodium, count your calories, count all of that stuff on the nutritional labels. And we have classes that can help you understand, educate you on how to read these nutritional fact labels, so you can understand what you put in your body.
Now, when you say a class, do you host a class, or maybe you want to do a course on that?
Yes, we're planning to launch a course on that to educate people on the impact of high sodium and how to pay more attention to your sodium content. It's not published yet, but we're working on it.
Okay. Now, just to bring this home, I mean, you gave us a lot of information, a lot of detailed information. Where can they find you? I got the ticker going across. Where can they find your product?
So if you live in the 6 southern states, in the South, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, we're in all the Whole Food stores in those 6 southern states, and I think we're in the we're actually in 2 stores in Florida in the Panhandle. Tallahassee Whole Foods, we're in there, and the products in there, and the Destin, Florida Whole Foods market. You can purchase the product online at www.numnumsauce.com. We're also on Instagram, numnumsauce, one word, and you can find us on Facebook as well. So those are the locations where you can check us out, and also get some information on our Num Num Sauce YouTube channel, explaining some of the health benefits, and talking about what we're working on, looking to raise capital and things. And we're going to put out some content on there with cooking and showing you how to use the Num Num Sauce with food and things of that nature. So we're pretty much looking to train our people. Once I get done with this PhD program at the end of this month, or beginning of next month, we're going to go hard on the content creation, to show people how to utilize the Num Num Sauce.
Okay. Now, do you have a bucket list? This is, when we wind down, I want to talk about the future. So, dreaming big goals, we touched on that just a little bit. So we touched on future. when what is on your bucket list? Also, do you dream and do you have vivid dreams of your big goals and bucket lists? And how fast are you getting to the bucket list, knocking down the things you want to do?
Most definitely, you gotta have dreams, and bucket lists full of dreams, full of bucket lists full of dreams. And so my bucket list was or is to be autonomous to generate revenue. You have to be able to generate your revenue without constraints of others, because if you don't, people try to control you, and if you don't do what they say, they're gonna try to pull their resources from you. So you have to be able to be autonomous and be able to walk away and be independent. So that was always my major bucket list. But as you materialize certain bucket list items, you have other ones. So and other bucket lists would be to scale the brand and eventually go public. Scale it to a degree where we can go public and matriculate through the process of scaling a consumer packaged goods brand. Right now, there aren't any people of color own consumer packaged goods brands. Everything is owned by not people of color, but they got people of color face on it.
Yeah.
And so we're trying. So that's on the bucket list. Also, just seeing my son through.
Yeah, I'm just about to touch on that. Your future predictions for your company, your family, and yourself. So you're about to touch on family. So
yeah, these kids ain't asked Legacy. To be here. These kids ain't asked to be here, man. You know what I'm saying? So, we can't let a business or your ambitions take over your whole lifestyle. It has to have a balance. Because you can build all this stuff in business, you can get hit by a car or something, or whatnot, or or you can build a business and your kids don't see you or nothing. So that's not good. So that's why I moved down here to Atlanta to come raise my son. After me and his mom split up. So, but I will say that having my own business and being independent gives me gratification, and it makes me happy. So I can pour into my seed, because sometimes you'll have parents that they're unhappy with their situation and they pass that negative energy on to their kids. And so the kids don't feel loved as much as they should, or the parents have angst, or they're in a bad mood, or they're always grumpy all the time. But them kids ain't asked to be here. So so my job is to love my son and spend time with him and see him toward his transition to the next level. He's 16 now. He'll be 17 at the end of May, going into his senior year in high school. So I'm focused on participating with his, academics. Although he got a 3.7, he don't really need my help a lot on academic side. But he already passed the SAT, and he's already in college. Actually, dual enrollment at Georgia State. Yep, at Georgia State. So he doing his thing. Yes, sir. He's a really good kid. And he's doing his thing on the field, on the football field, and on the baseball field. So we're looking to get him some exposure to some colleges, to get his game tape out, get his film out, and supporting him. And so what was the other one?
So we got future predictions for your company, your family, and for yourself. So you didn't talk about your company. The growth of your company. We talked about your son, and now we're going to talk about yourself and legacy.
I mean, I'm just focused on those two things, man. I've been single for a while, so.
Hey, ladies, he's single.
I mean, you know, I still ain't focused on that neither.
Yeah.
But just
Every
just
god needs a goddess.
yeah, that's what they say, man. But I ain't good at picking females, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep
You on
moving.
Ike's right now, huh?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get done with school right now,
I
man.
feel
Because
you.
I've been working on that for 11, 12 years, man. So I'm just trying to get that out the way. So that'll be one thing off my plate.
Yeah. No
So
more
I can,
distractions.
yeah. So I can focus on other aspects of my life, and enjoying time with my son, and growing the brand, and learning how to scale the operation, and getting, start doing some exporting, doing some processing the tomatoes, and like uh, you know, growing our infrastructure so we can continue to be autonomous. Because if we don't set this thing up for our youth and our seeds, then they're going to be lost. And so that's really what gratifies me right now, is to continue to build for our future generations, and turn our people on to the opportunities that are right in our faces, and that other people are trying to dominate.
Yeah.
And the food science world is our field. We are George Washington Carver, Dr. Percy Julian,
Mm-hmm.
all these melanated geniuses in the field.
Herbalists.
Hmm?
Herbalists.
Yes, I feel like it's our job to heal the people,
Mm-hmm.
and so once we get more people on that page, then that will give me some personal gratification, because I feel like when it comes to a woman or a mate or something like that, I mean, if you ain't on the page we on, then we gonna bump heads. So we gotta have the power of agreement. So I feel like all that'll shake out when we keep building. All that other personal stuff for me will come, but I've sacrificed my life to doing this work, man. So that's all I'm focusing on right now.
Oh, I'm running to say congratulations on your success. Another thing, in closing,
Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate it.
it's been an honor to have you on here and give you your flowers while you here on this earth. We just lost a wonderful brother by the name of Earl Simmons, better known as DMX, Dark Man X. So we're getting over trauma, a lot of trauma, you know what I'm saying? And we're coming into knowing through the information age, and what you just hit us with was phenomenal, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully your star will start shining brighter and have other kids interested in becoming a scientist such as yourself, and going through the process, you know what I'm saying, and enduring the process, and becoming, so on that note, man, it's been a blessing. Do you want to give the audience some love, let them know your final thoughts?
Yeah, sure. That's yeah, we definitely have to keep moving, and show the youth that there's more things that we are capable of than being entertainers. Even though entertainment has opened a lot of doors for us over the years, because we do that well as well. But we have to diversify our uh, career paths, and/or backup paths, because I was on the path of being an entertainer as well, playing football. You know what I'm saying? I was real
Mm-hmm.
good at football, and because I was always faster than most people, and so that was my thing too. But I had a backup plan, and my backup plan was going to graduate school and pursuing the sciences. And so we definitely have to um, have multiple options, and especially pursuing the STEM sciences. This is what people of color are great at, and it really comes natural to us once we understand the systems and the resources in place. And once we get in and understand how to break down scientific papers, man, it's easy actually, because we have the creativity. We just have to complement that with experience and pushing through challenges, and solving problems, because we're the original problem solvers. So I would encourage the youth and people with kids to give their kids some exposure to the school science and some of the predecessors of the school science world, to pique some interest in this field, because you are what you eat. The word says you are of the earth. You will go back to the earth. Everything is on earth. So to heal our bodies. So and people will pay their good hard money, earn money, to be healthy, live long. So that's my final thought.
Excellent, excellent. All right, it's been a pleasure having Mr. in parentheses Dr. Michael Lloyd, because he's going to be a doctor soon. Make sure you go to his website, numnumsauce.com. Purchase you some Num Num sauce. The brother, when me and my wife, we had a convenience store, he showed up. A lot of people, that I call like friends, this brother showed up. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate him. It's probably nothing I wouldn't do for this brother to help him succeed even further. So again, I like to send my greatest thanks to you for coming on the show. And again, the legend is going to grow. I mean, fellow Daytonian, Num Num Sauce, you're going to see some great things from this brother. And also, he's a great father, hands down. And again, thanks for tuning in tonight. If y'all have any questions, comments, please hit him up at Num Num Sauce on Instagram. You can find Num Num Sauce on Facebook. He has a TikTok as well. Reach out to him. He has knowledge. All right. This concludes tonight's broadcast. Share, like, hit that pound, that thumbs up on all platforms, social media. And again, thank you and have a great night. Enjoy y'all weekend. Oh, tomorrow, be back here at 10 o'clock p.m. We got problems. A gang of us will be on expressing some of the things that needs to be done in our community. And thank you. Have a great night. Peace.